Hello, loves. I am KV, and this is the moon phase report for the solar eclipse in Scorpio that is set to officially arrive tomorrow on the 23rd of October. So, okay, I'm in the process of doing the written horoscopes right now, so I may repeat myself a little bit in what I'm saying here and there. But one thing I wanted to let you know that this eclipse is really powerful. And how I kind of see it is that, the eclipse seasons really kind of, from my own research, have really kind of laid out what the next 6 months of your life is going to be like. So we have these twice a year and they come in pairs. Sometimes we have one or two more, depending on how close they are to the nodes. But traditionally there's four and they come in two pairs and they're 6 months apart. So each one of them kind of has a descriptive power of what our next 6 months are going to be about. And when you start researching them and going back in time and seeing the lessons of what is occurring with each one, you do see that that was pretty much what you were working on for the 6 months of your life leading up to the next ones. So I really like to see these readings and see what is going to be kind of up for us during these times. But another aspect of them is that sometimes the lunar or full moon comes first, and sometimes the new moon or solar comes first. So depending on which one comes first, I see as what makes them more powerful or less powerful. And I just wrote this and I thought it was such a great way to explain it. But basically with these, if you imagine, if you go and buy clothes that are smaller than what you're wearing because you want to lose weight, that is more what happens when we have the solar eclipse first. And when you actually lose the weight first, get in shape first, and then go buy the new clothes, that's what happens when we have a lunar eclipse first. So the lunar eclipse is letting go of first, and then a couple weeks later opening to kind of a new vision that really kind of becomes what it is through what you let go of. And the one we have right now is where we had the lunar first. So this one feels more powerful to me because we already let go of all these things from the past 60 days that we just felt called to address or let go of or change, or even how because of this one with so much Mercury and so much relationship arena information stuff, it's been that we've had to say things to people that we weren't saying, that we were keeping on the down low, that we weren't wanting to bring up because we didn't want to make a stink. So a lot of us were not really living in our power or not really being true to who we are because it was too difficult to say what we needed to say. So the eclipse came through and really just said, no, you're saying it. You have to say it. So for all of the people who, especially around 60 days from now, before now, a lot of those people started getting a lot of that push to speak. And not everybody spoke at that time, but when you did, those are the ones who are really kind of feeling pretty fantastic right now because they cleared that slate of what just needed to be addressed. And again, it's that thing where you can't judge it. Anytime I say when people kind of leave your life, you're never to judge or put them down or make them smaller. Like that's always showing that we're coming from our ego. If we have to list off all the things, well, you're da da da, well, you're da da da, well, you did da da da, that's always going to say that we're coming from a more immature, emotional perspective of things. And when you can be more mature about it, which is all of our journeys in life, it's where you just know these puzzle pieces aren't fitting right now. And this does not feel good right now. And since neither one of us want to come together and bring a healing in order to, compromise on both ends in order to help these fit, then it's best that we kind of separate right now. And I always tell you, don't ever look at separations as permanent because people tend to come back into our lives and it's just how it goes. And I've always noticed that one with friends. You know, sometimes we're just not gelling anymore. Sometimes it just doesn't feel good to be around these people. But because I know I loved them at one point, and because I have Venus in Aquarius, so friends to me are always the most important people out there. You know, having a really solid friendship base is always more important than romantic love to me, which is why all romantic love peoples have to be friends first with me because friendship is huge. So I always know I loved this person, I respected this person, so maybe we're knocking heads now. That doesn't mean I'm going to rip them to shreds and put words out there that are going to further damage it. Because they're going to come back. We always come back, you know. And also too with romantic relationships anyway in the world, a lot of times it is where you already knew this person and they come back into your life again. And it happens over and over and over. I've been hearing it for like the past 12 years. That was like one of the really big components of these high vibrational relationships, where you met at one time, your puzzle pieces didn't fit, you meet a decade later again, and then they fit so harmoniously. So also we always have to remember that when things aren't fitting with someone in our life, it just that means that we're growing in different ways, and we need to go off to these other energetic spaces to acquire learning that takes us up a notch in order to come back and kind of fit together with people again. So it is never appropriate to put people down or to make them smaller or to slander them or to talk about them behind their back or to put them down, especially because basically you're speaking through your wounds. And if anybody is high enough in vibration, they can see through that, you know, because we understand that, you know, I would always see that in romantic relationships with people, like, you know, how then they would put him down so horribly. And that to me, just like, I've always tried to bring that awareness to these people that you used to really love them and want to spend the rest of your life with them at one point. So there's kind of the need to have that honoring position, even when it's coming to an end. And also because it just does not pay to speak in negative ways about other people when it's really an issue between you and them. And anybody who buys, like, I have it where, you know, I don't really like to talk about things if I ever have a problem with someone, because one, I understand that our puzzle pieces just aren't fitting. But I don't want to put the energy in putting them down, because I know it's going to swing back into my life, because it's one of those like karmic payback things, because it's not really the truth and it's just my opinion. So if I'm hurt by someone, I've obviously had a wound that has been a wound that has been pressed and highlighted to me that I have this issue, or that I have this problem, or that this person, you know, bugged me about something that I need to look at within myself. So by just putting the attention on them and how wrong they are, there's no doubt that I'm going to manifest more people that will show that to me, because the true purpose is just for you to see what's inside of you that's being triggered. And also in speaking in negative ways about people, that karma always comes back. So it's really best to just, when we have provocation with people, sometimes we do need people to go to you know, process with people. We need to share it. We need to just hear, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? You know, because it's kind of okay to respond like that. Are you kidding me? That happened? We kind of do want someone to like support us, but then it really just needs to be dropped. It doesn't need to be like, oh, well, she said, or she did, or he said, or he did. Did you know what I heard about that person? Because we all have things that we do that don't really make us so proud. That's why we're all human. But if you can't face them, you're going to have even more for the rest of your life, because the point is in facing them. So to think that we can have bad reputations along the line of our life is kind of normal, and something to kind of just roll with. We just have to be better peoples. And if people want to poke fun at or pick us apart, that's really their thing and their karmic payback that they're going to have to deal with. So it's really best to kind of keep things to ourselves, or at least sit in front of a mirror with them to see really what our role is. and then we can move on from them so much quicker. And that's what this eclipse is really bringing, that for a lot of people. There's been lots of friction and things not working and wanting to get mad at people and really outing ourselves about how wounded we still are, and that's good. So if you have been someone who's made a lot of those wrong moves of like picking someone apart or needing to put them down or needing to hold yourself in so much a higher position in comparison of that person, then you were just given a whole plethora of things that you really need to face about yourself, because it's always a two-way street. There's never just one person who is in the right, unless that person was completely and utterly not fazed and affected by what happened. If they kind of laughed about it, then they probably have kind of healed from a lot of those things. But if it bugged them and it was on their minds over the days and they had this wanting to get even or put them in their place, then that's a really big sign that you need to sit in front of the mirror and see your role in this. And the energies right now are just really trying to clear this stuff from us, really trying to clear. And the biggest one was, what I talked about in the last reading was this competitiveness with women, this rejection of other women, this jealousy. It's jealousy. It's always this enormous jealousy of I want what you have. And it comes from a space of not really loving who you are and not really feeling like you were valued. And living in a world of scarcity and fear where you don't think there's enough. So you don't want that other woman to be so beautiful. You don't want that woman to be so successful in her career, unless you can be, And that's the thing. It's like that's how the mentality is out of balance, because it's really just that you want what they have. And if you did have what they have, you probably wouldn't be putting, or you would not be putting them down and wanting to make them smaller. You would just be like, you go, girl, good for you manifesting that, and I was talking with my friend about that, because we're actually going to be collaborating and teaching classes on how to really heal that competitive female that comes from how we were treated by our mothers. So in all of us, it stems from how our mothers loved us and how they treated us, and also how they viewed other females. And this goes down, the lineage is huge. It's been going on for a really long time, and it's just, we're at a point now where we have to stop this. We have to stop this envy, jealousy, hatred of other females, and really kind of start to bond and pull together and really kind of create this strong force of what the feminine power is, which it's power. Feminine equals power, And so often we get into situations where we're always giving away our power. We all know that one. And truth be told, you are giving away your power if you are looking at other females in a competitive way and wanting to see them fail, or wanting to hurt them, or wanting to talk badly about them, or just wanting to judge them to pieces because they actually are triggering you by their looks, or they're triggering you by what they've manifested, or they're triggering you by their partner who adores them to pieces because you want that. So again, it's a really big inside job, but I'm coming together with someone that you guys know about. I'm not going to talk about it now, but she's one of the people I've worked with on here, and we're very excited about doing this service, because we also both come from the same upbringing that created this kind of imbalance. So we both know how imbalanced the females can be because we walked that. We were talking the other day too, and she was like, I never liked women. I was like, I know. I was like, did you watch my last video? I talked about that. And now I'm so about like, let's support the women. Let's heal the women. Let's focus on the women, So that's going to be coming, but it's kind of been coming up in all of us. There's just been lots of room to really think about how you have these really strong reactions with women in regard to these certain situations, and how there can be a jealousy, or it can make you sick to your stomach, or it can make you feel like you're not good enough, or it can make you feel like you'll never be successful, or there's just a lot of natural, because they are natural, feelings that do come up with other women. And it's kind of like the newest movement now to really kind of empower women and show them that there's another way for us to be in sisterhood and to kind of unite as one and really kind of birth the feminine power into this planet. So it's very exciting times. But what you first have to do is you have to face all the dark and murky things. You have to face everything you've done. You have to face every judgmental feeling that you have towards women. And that's the hard job. But that's where we're at right now. And that's where a lot of the eclipse, because it's been in relationships, because it's been mental with Mercury and air of Libra, there's a lot of examining about what we've been saying in our head. Because that too is what I see is the greatest evil out there, is that we have been conditioned to believe that if we keep it inside, it doesn't matter. And in the last video, or the one before, I can't remember, but I was talking about how we're becoming more psychic. We're very in tune. We're all a nation of empaths now, you know. To be an empath is not something rare. To understand that you're an empath is kind of almost everybody. It's kind of like we're so in tune. We're so sensitive to things. What we're putting in our bodies. That's the big awareness that we really need to understand, is that we are feeling everything that we put into our bodies. So you'll even notice that you really kind of get upset tummies over things that maybe before you didn't. So all GMOs have got to go because they change your brain chemistry, and you really can't be a truly happy person if you're eating genetically modified foods. You'll have this really kind of numb life. And same thing with factory farmed foods. You can't eat it. You can't put them in your body. And if you do, you're going to be depressed. You're going to be really unhappy with life. You're going to feel like nothing ever works. You're going to feel like you're a big loser. You're going to feel like you want to die. So all of the new bipolar illness, what's the word? Prescriptions, prescribed mental illnesses of bipolar are what I really believe relates directly to our diets and what we're putting in our body. So there's a lot of new ways that we really have to start understanding the world through what our body is telling us, and through the thoughts that we're holding in our mind, and through the things that we're putting into our body. So it's just a whole new world of things that we never thought really mattered. You know, we never really thought that it mattered how you talk about yourself in your mind, or the things you say about others in your mind. We're always kind of conditioned that what matters is the front of what you're showing everybody. So what you look like, how you're responding physically to things is what matters. But now we know that's not really the case. And the purer your mind is, the more you start aligning to a life that is fully blossomed and alive. And I think too that we have grown addicted to thinking that life is just not always a bowl of cherries. And we've grown into these kind of numb beings who don't really feel a lot of joy and don't really feel a lot of purpose with their life. And because of that, it's that's like the flower that just has not blossomed yet. And I truly believe that we are supposed to be kind of giddy most days with how beautiful things are, with how amazing things are that are happening in our lives. And most of us just have not accessed that energy level where we do just feel so much gratitude and so much joy for the simplest things of listening to the birds and looking at a beautiful sky and playing with your animals. And, you know, all the simplicity of life is where the joy truly resonates, and where we really do just have lives of like, it's all good. I love this. It's great, you know. And one of the things too with the class that I'm teaching, it's now only December. It was going to be November and December, but I had an emergency that came into my life for next week. So it's going to put me behind, and it's where I have to be here for this person. So it had to be this way. But But one of the things that we're going to be working on in this class is that I'm really going to share a lot of tools to help people blossom and to really kind of start moving to that perspective of going with the flow of whatever happens in life and understanding that it's all good and it doesn't need to be labeled as negative or difficult or all these things that keep it in this lower vibrating expression. Like, we really have to upgrade in regards to everything, what we put in our body, who we take into our space, how our thoughts are aligned with what we truly want to manifest. So I'm really excited to share all these really cool things about the path that I've walked to become who I am now. And, in the class, I'm going to really kind of go into my story of what I came from, and I'm going to lay it all out there. And you're going to be kind of surprised at who I am now from what I did come from. But I'm kind of doing that to show you that we can all change. We can all switch gears. We can all really start manifesting a different life expression through these things that I'm going to be teaching in the class. So it goes along with the Way of the Moon Journey book that I am writing. But it's kind of extra just tools to really feel more comfortable in life and really feel more relaxed in life and really feel more on purpose and in the now with your thoughts, because that's the hardest one for us. And that's what kept me in a decade of saying affirmations and doing all these things I was, taught to do, but still not seeing it change in my life. And I think that that's how it has to be for a lot of us. We really do need the trial and error for a while before we really do figure out how to do it. It's simple, but it's not kind of thing. But when you get it, you're like, oh my gosh, that was so simple. But when you're still kind of figuring your way through it, it's much more detailed than what you think. There's a lot more you have to put into it to really see the results of loving your life and like for real and like, feeling like I love my life. No, and it's not like I don't have a life of difficulties. It's not like I don't have a life of things that trip me up and don't work as how I planned, but my perspective on them is what has changed. And there's a lot more patience in how I look at things now. Like, what was one that I thought about? What was that? There was something. What was that totally like tricked me, but into seeing that it was actually kind of perfect? I wonder what that was now. But along the line of this too, I do want you to know that, we've been talking for years about, how things are instantly manifesting now. But the more pure you get in your body, the more you're detoxing, the more you're eating organic, healthy foods or grass-fed organic foods, or humanely treated and humanely killed foods. All these things kind of change in your life where you're able to manifest things so much quicker. So there actually are guards put up on people who aren't ready to really be manifestors yet, because if they were having the instant manifesting that some people are having, it could be a really scary, dangerous world out there. So there's actually protection put on your manifesting skills. And what's happening for a lot of the people who are really purifying and really aligning to their soul's purpose work and really blossoming into the fullest expression of who they are to be in this lifetime, they're having things come really quickly. And what this is really doing is also helping you keep your thoughts on the right vibration, because you're going to notice you're thinking about things that bother you, and then they're going to start coming up. I was thinking about how I was out driving, and I was thinking about what annoys me about drivers. And my biggest complaint is going up a hill and where people start to slow down before they go up the hill, and then they have to use so much more gas to get up the hill. Like, that's my biggest annoyance. So that's not so bad, is it? But after I thought it kept happening. I kept getting behind people who were doing this. And I was like, be careful what you say. But And yeah, I used to have it where I couldn't stand when people were behind me or on my tail, and that used to drive me crazy. And now it doesn't bother me at all. I can't stand to have somebody in front of me slowing me down are making me have to go whatever speed they're going, unless it's the speed limit, and then I'm cool with it. But I don't like someone in front of me now. I don't care if there's 30 cars behind me, but if someone's in front, I like a full open road now. I like to be able to see where I'm going. When someone's in front of me, I'm like, pass. Let's just nip this in the bud right now, pass. So that's changed about me with driving. But so do be aware. And you know what? I'll tell this story. This was so cute. So I had all of a sudden I wanted to go to the store and go into town and do my groceries, which it was way earlier than I normally do. And I went into town, and I was thinking about all this stuff I wanted to talk on this video about, like our manifesting and how potent the energy is now with what we're thinking. And the day before, I had gotten a package delivered, but where I live, all the packages, you have to drive a couple miles to get to the mailboxes, and there's probably like 100 of them, and there's only like 10 big package mailboxes. So often you'll get your mail and there's a slip that you have to sign because there wasn't room to put it in the big boxes. And I had gotten one of those and I signed for it, and I thought, gosh, you know, what if they deliver it again and it won't be here? And I really wanted this stuff that I ordered. So, and you never know when they're coming. It's never a definite. It can be 10 a.m., it can be 6 p.m. So to catch them is not something that often happens. But so I was out and I was driving and I was, you know, composing all these things and thinking about what I would talk in this video about energy and how really kind of keeping our intentions on what we want to have happen, you know, really kind of seeing things happen. And I had said that with that package, wouldn't it be so great if I ended up bumping into them? But I've only even seen the mail carrier like 10 times in a couple of years because I rarely catch the guy or see him there. So I did all my shopping and I was going in my mind about how all this stuff can line up if you really kind of make the space for it with no doubts, you know, really just like, I want this to happen, and then just know it will in the correct way. And what I'm also saying too is it's the more pure your body is and the more pure your thoughts are that you're able to always have this happen right on schedule. So I was just coming down this big hill where I make a turn to go to the post office or to the mailboxes, and I forgot about the package at that point. I didn't even think, oh, I wonder if I'll catch the postmaster. That wasn't even on my mind at all. I was more just talking to myself in my mind about what I was going to talk about on this video. And the moment I turned the corner and said like the last line of what I would say on the video, I look at the mailboxes and the postman was just there. So it was so perfect that also I went into town and did groceries when I normally don't do them. I remember just being at home and being like, I just want to get that out of the way now. It's noon. Let's go get it out of the way. And I usually do it, you know, around 5 or 6. I do it later because I go into town to do shipping. But I was like, I'm just going to go now. I just want to go now. So it was so cute that when I looked back at the whole day, you know, and how me getting out early made that happen, you know, and then even then I was talking about it and not even realizing, but talking about a subject of how everything can manifest if you stay on this correct vibration. So I was already in the energy of manifesting something. So of course the dude's right there, and he was so excited to see me too because he said they were full again, so it was going to have to go back. And so I was like, yay! And then, you know, every time those things happen and keep happening, you keep going up in this vibration to where everything you want just starts to come. And then you also realize that if it doesn't come, it's not the right timing or it's not the right thing. And then you go, okay then, you know, whatever. I actually have so many examples, I don't think I'm going to get into them, but I just saw it a lot over this Mercury retrograde where everything that did kind of, I had a couple shipping things that didn't come when they were supposed to. But it worked out for the best. Each one of them was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that happened because it opened me to making this other change. That's why I always do want you to realize that with the Mercury retrograde, these things aren't to trip you up, and they're not happening so that you feel entitled to blame them or put them down or make excuses for why these other things are happening in your life. You know, if you got a computer during a Mercury retrograde Android and it died, I'm sure it's on warranty, so it's no big deal, but that wasn't enough of an upgrade of a computer for you. There's always something that's going to trip you up like that in a way to make you gain a new perspective of what you were thinking. Maybe, you so wanted this to happen, you so wanted that, and then it didn't, and then you realize 2 weeks later, oh my gosh, that wasn't even the right one for me, but I so thought I wanted to, and it not coming into my life was just a message that I was supposed to consider something else. I had that so much with the cover of my Moon Journeys book, where I thought I wanted this one, I thought I wanted this one, I spent $140 ordering it, and even harassing the workers. How I have to wait how many days to get it? Okay, I can't order it from you. I'm going to find somebody else so I can get it here quicker. And I did that. I got it here, and it's not going to work as a cover because it shows fingerprints too much. So, I can return it, so it's all good. But if I would have just recognized that halt, that was stopping it from being available right away, would have given me the time to discover another way and a better sort of cover, which did happen 2 days later. I realized I had a sample already of something that I was like, I love this. This is what I want it to be, So, but I didn't do that. I instead rushed and said, I need to order it right now. And I've actually put my book on a week delay because of my friend coming to stay with me. So I didn't need to do any of all of that. So the lesson is always something like that. But it never needs to be something that we get mad about or frustrated about. It's more just like, okay, I'm being guided to not go in that direction. So let me slow down and see what direction I am supposed to go into. So that's really the purpose of Mercury retrograde. And if you can ride that vibration, you end up having a wonderful Mercury retrograde. I love Mercury retrogrades. I love them so much. They bring so much clarity. Combine it with an eclipse and you've got power. You've got a total re-examination of a path you were headed on that now needs a different kind of focus and power put into it. What this one right now is really doing too is really kind of showing us how valuable we are with what we have to offer, and seeing it from a new perspective that I am all that, or whatever is coming to you. I do have something special to offer. I do need to believe in myself with this gift that I have. So, with this one, it's so important that we are realigning from what we've let go of with the people in our life, with the thought patterns in our life, with the things that we've let go of from the beginning part of this eclipse, to now opening to a bigger and better expression of what we really can do. And now I'm wondering if I even said it on the video. Whenever we have a full moon first before the new moon, we're letting go of something, but we don't know yet what we're going to be blossoming into. Whereas when we have the new moon first, we have the vision of what we want to blossom into, and then maybe or maybe not, we will let go of the correct things with the full moon. So this one is more powerful, and I wrote in the horoscopes, it was really good, a really good way to explain it, and I'll do it here too, is that the new moon first way of looking at it is going out to buy clothes before you actually join the fitness program and lose the weight. And that's something we have all done. And how often do we ever get into those clothes? You know what I mean? But the full moon first is where we actually join the fitness plan first, start working out, start doing all the things we need to do to get healthy, and then once our body has transformed and we've let go of all these things, then we buy the new clothes. So you can see how full moon first is actually going to bring a better result in how we're going to spend the next 6 months of our lives. So this one's very exciting. This is where all that stuff we've let go of, we now have this new slate in which to manifest things of a huge magnitude. And it's all because of what we honored in ourselves in saying, no, this is unacceptable. I can't have that in my life. No, this is unacceptable. I can't share my space with people like this in my life. No, this is unacceptable. I can't have people talk to me like this in my life, or whatever came up with you. No, this is unacceptable. I will not eat genetically modified foods any longer. No, this is unacceptable. I will completely change my diet so that I feel abundant from what I eat. Because you will notice your body tells you how good that was for you. And it's really smart to kind of watch your energy levels and your mental positivity or depression levels, because I think a lot of you know too that like I'm allergic to gluten, and if I have gluten I will think I'm the biggest loser ever. I will sit there crying about how much I want to die and how I just am worthless. I can't imagine anybody would ever love me or want to be with me or want anything from me because I'm such an ugly, horrible loser. And it happens every time I get contaminated by gluten. And even though my mind knows this is just gluten and in a couple days I'll get it out of my system and I'll be back to confidence and loving myself, I still can't get out of that mental space. So that's why I always tell people who have depression, first thing is cut out gluten for a week and see if it's doing to you what it does to me. Because I do know that I can't pull myself out of it. I'll still just sit there and cry and want to die, you know. And if I was more suicidal, I could definitely take my life because it's that much where I just want to die. I don't want to be in this world. I'm worthless. I'm trash. So it changes our brain chemistry, and we really need to pay close attention to what we're putting in our bodies. Let's see. All over the place again, right? It's just about giving messages, I think, you know. I could sit here and just do the astrology words over and over and over, but I think it's kind of fun to really kind of do some food for thought. And I know that at specific times in the calendar and with the energies going on, we can hear things more. So that's kind of why I like to do it like this. And you know, too, the energies of this one, too, are very much about letting go of things from our past that are keeping us from feeling reborn and keeping us from starting a new day. So it does make sense, actually, that I'm bringing all this up. But let's see if there's, oh, you know, death, too, is a really big part of this one. And I can't remember why. Why? I remember that came to me yesterday. I wonder why. But so you are going to be thinking about a lot of people that crossed over. Oh, there's Day of the Dead too. Wonder if that's it. It's like the season of Day of the Dead. So a lot of people, you know, just kind of let those emotions rumble out of you. There's a lot of sadness for animals, for people who have left your life. So a lot of people are just feeling that deep sadness. But because of how things are lined up too, where there's a really big like restart, do-over, fresh start, I know that a lot of people out there are handling death so much better than they did even 5 years ago. Like we so much know so much more about death so that we can just more roll with it. And that's how life is too right now, always trying to show us a higher perspective of why things happen. But I have really realized that more people that I mingle with are handling the death process so much better than they maybe did even like a decade ago, of where you could be in a depression for years over losing somebody. And you know me, I lost everybody in a 2-year period. Everybody that I loved most. Everybody that has the deepest, most ingrained part of my heart, all of them died. Every single one of them. So now I have, you know, but I still feel like I handled it like a pro. And I really do feel like it was just like, okay, you know, it was just like running out of gas and realizing now you need to go get more. It's like, okay. Realizing you have a flat tire, you need to get a new tire, okay, you know. So because it was so much of it, it really did show me how to, you know, roll with it, where I probably would not have been that way had it happened a couple years earlier or several years earlier. It may have been more overwhelming to me. So do know that death is a part of it right now, whether you're losing lots of people or whether they're just really coming to your mind. It's just a really big piece of this one right now, and kind of accepting death and kind of rising above into a new space that does come from the death as we experience from winter to spring. You know, there's always a new light, and that's what we're all kind of realizing in our life. The things that have died, the things that have left us are really creating the space for a new spring birth of something brand new and even better. But the whole point of life is for us to be happy and to feel joy and to feel on purpose, and that we are here for a reason. So a lot of these deaths are the steps in opening that to our awareness, because there's always a purpose in it, and nothing ends with something. You know, it's not like something dies and nothing ever comes back to replace it. It does. It's the same thing as a door closes, a window opens, or whatever. It's true. Something's always moving and shifting and evolving into something else. So it's our perspective of things that has to change in order to really bring that new in a quicker fashion. And so that we don't keep tripping ourselves up with obstacles because we're so upset about something that happened to us in our past or in our lives, or how it has been thus far. So we're creating a new day from all of that, of hope, you know, of something better to come from all that has been lost, and a new way of life to manifest, even though you may have feel like you've always been shortchanged and things have never have worked out into your way. And just kind of creating a new way of something to manifest in your life that feels great and wonderful and joyful. So I'm going to stop, and the written horoscopes are going to be down below, and they're really good. I'm describing the 6 months, what your 6-month future is going to feel like, and they're so good. And I was having so much fun writing them. I wanted to just come in and take a break now and do this, but they're really exciting, and it's just kind of guide you of what kind of area you really are to dream huge in regards for the next 6 months, and to not let anything make it smaller or convince you that you can't do this, because we all are having an area where we're growing and blossoming into this more, you know, bloomed self, full bloom. It's time to fully blossom, you know. Okay, so you have a beautiful day, and I will see you with the next full moon readings. And I'm also going to be announcing the 5 winners of my Way of the Moon Journey giveaway that I offered. So on the written horoscopes, I'll have all the winners. So if you're one of the winners, you need to contact me. You could contact me here, but Facebook, Instagram, or the website would be best. So just give me a shout out and let me know you're one of the winners, and we'll start making all that happen. I'm so excited. Oh, I'm also, because I had to delay the November class into December, but it made more sense because everybody was signing up for December, so it was an easy decision. But the book's going to come out a week later, as I'm handwriting it, as you guys know, and having so much fun with that. But I am going to keep the 20% off pre-order discounts until November 2nd. So when daylight savings ends and when the Day of the Dead occurs, the sale will die. I thought that was most fitting, you know. So there's still until November 2nd, the Sunday, to get that 20% off. So you still have plenty of time to sign up if you would like to get a really great deal into a fantastic book and class that is going to be having amazing reviews coming from it when more people are in it. If you want to wait for the reviews, that's fine. They'll be coming. I feel that confident about it. Okay, so you have a beautiful day, and I will see you in a couple